Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey. He is the director of the Giampapa Institute of Anti-Aging Medical Therapy and Plastic Surgery Center internationally. He is not only one of the first board-certified physicians in anti-aging medicine, he was also a founding member and the first president of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, please put a big hand together for Nobel Prize nominee, Dr. Vincent Giampapa.
Say that this is my third time here in Malaysia, and every time I come to Malaysia, and Kuala Lumpur particularly, I am just so impressed with the growth of what's happened here with Jeunesse. And it's so exciting to see how people react to not just the company, but the science behind this company. And I want to say something that when I was watching Jeunesse grow over the last couple of years, I was watching something to me that was very, very important, because what defines success? What can you look at and you just know something's going to be successful? Well, for me, it's three things. It's, first of all, the people. And without a question, Wendy and Randy are not only the most honest and honorable people you can possibly want to work with, but the company itself seems to gravitate or collect people that have very similar ethical backgrounds and extremely hardworking. So to me, that was the first thing I saw. The second thing I saw was the place. So you need the right people and you need the right place. So what does that mean? If you look at what's happening with the global population, not just in the US, but every country in the world, people are getting older, and the older percent of the population is what really needs to be addressed, is the quality of our health, the quality of our time, and what can we do, everybody here in this room, not just the scientists, but what can you do to help that aging population? In fact, we're all going to be part of it. So Jeunesse is focused on one of the largest growing segments of the global population. All of us are getting older. Lastly, what defines success is the information you have and the science you have. So today I want to review again why Jeunesse is the leader at the moment and will without a question be the leader in the future. It's about the science and information behind the products of Jeunesse and how all of this fits together. So without a question, I think every one of you here, and I say this usually at the end, but I'll say it now, you're not only distributors, you're not only in a business, but you are really sources of information to change people's lives. You're ambassadors to health. You might not have a degree in medicine or you might not have a degree in nutrition, but you hold the information in your hands to really, really change the lives of everybody you touch. And it's not just for the money, it's for the quality of life they experience. And my job is to bring you and the company the latest science and to keep us in the forefront. And I will continue to do that with everything we're doing. Not only here, but in the immediate future. So, when people ask, what's so unique about Jeunesse as opposed to other companies, the products that have been developed are based on the science of how we age. And I have in my books an interesting saying, you know, the human body is made up of 100 trillion cells. And it seems very complicated, but if you understand how to keep one cell healthy, you can keep 100 trillion cells healthy. So that's where we started with what's called the youth enhancement system. Okay? So if you look at the products Jeunesse has right now, you'll notice that we have products for the skin. The skin is the largest organ of the body, and the aging process shows up on the skin quicker than anywhere else. You'll notice we have AmPm. Now, AmPm's focus is to make each one of those 100 trillion cells start to work better. And once each one of those cells starts to work better, the skin products work better, the other products work better because that's the root cause of aging. We have Reserve, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about tomorrow. Now, Reserve is such a unique product in that it keeps the cells as they're aging, it keeps those cells healthier longer. Infinity is a unique product which allows the cells to make more copies of themselves as we get older, because that allows our bodies to repair and restore itself. So each one of these products are really designed to work here, restoring ultimately the most important part of you and the basic unit of how you age your cell. We're going to talk a little bit today about not just your health at the moment, but your future health. So all of us feel in this room pretty healthy, and we're going to talk about quality of health in a minute. But getting back to the products, why is this company so unique? Is every one of these products work together. As you use one product, the other product works better. And as you use two products, you'll notice all the products work better. And again, we're going to focus today on AmPm and why that's one of the essential products to jumpstart and to help all of us improve how we age and the quality of health that we experience. So I think we have to roll. This is a quick video, I believe. So Cell Health Institute is where I do my research, and it's in New Jersey. The basic unit of every one of us is the cell, okay? And if you have a healthy cell, and we have 100 trillion cells in the body, healthy cells make up healthy organs, make up healthy systems, make up a healthy body. But what happens to all of us as we age is these cells are attacked by the normal process of living. If we go into the nucleus and center of the cell, you'll see our DNA. The DNA is damaged hundreds of thousands of times a day, but our bodies have the ability to repair that damage. And as that damage accumulates, telomeres, which are the little ends of those our chromosomes and dictate how often our cells can divide, are also impacted by cells that are starting to age. So as we get older, the more unhealthy cells we have, the quicker we age. So the secret is to keep as many cells in our body healthy. So aging, if you take a look at this, and basically it's a continuous process. You know, when we're young, we have to age to become mature adults. And that's that nice, straight young lady in the middle. But once we hit that point in our lives, our goal is to stay as healthy as possible, as long as possible. And there's all little tricks we learned in our research on how to do that, okay? The research that I finished last year, which was a very interesting thing, and I'll tell you a little bit of story about that. When I first presented this research 4 years ago to two gentlemen who were multi-billionaires in the United States, I met with them at dinner and I said to them, I think we can completely reverse the aging process in human beings. And we have to start at the stem cell level because that's where stem cells make healthy body cells. And if we could keep stem cells healthier longer, we could keep people healthier for much longer, perhaps even live a longer life. But it really is about quality time. Well, the gentleman at the table said to me, I'm already 75. The other gentleman said to me, I'm already 80. And I said, well, guess what? How about if I told you there's a way we can take your 80-year-old stem cells and make them work like a 21-year-old person? And he said, how much money do you need? Well, we finished dinner 20 minutes later, and I took home a check for $2 million. I would say it was probably one of the most productive dinners I've ever had. But then the pressure was put on, and the pressure was interesting. I was given 12 months to prove that. And it wasn't just failure, it was, I had made a promise to one of the most wealthiest and influential men in the United States. So 12 months later, we presented the research at the Vatican in Rome, at the first International Stem Cell Symposium, and we showed for the first time we could reverse the aging process in human stem cells. And that led us on to a nomination for the Nobel Prize, but also, more importantly, that the techniques we use, believe it or not, are the same techniques that are involved in AmPm. And I'm going to explain those to you in a minute. So I want you to understand that as we as human beings gain more knowledge, we have the ability to use that knowledge in good and bad ways. And our whole focus now in Jeunesse and the science is how do we help people live healthier, better quality lives? And that information you're bringing to everybody you deal with in our products, okay? So if you look at yourself, you'll say, gee, I'm healthy. But you know, health has different qualities. Some people say, you know, I feel pretty good. But you don't feel as good as you did when you were 21 or 30. You feel healthy, but you don't have that energy. You can't get up and move so much as you used to. Then some people have very good health, and some people are in super excellent health. Our goal is to take where you are, even if you think you're in good health, and show you how much better you can feel. And I'm going to explain that science to you and what AmPm is all about, okay? So the real focus here is understanding what AmPm does and why it's important, and how every one of the other products that Jeunesse has work together, and how this is really the base product. So in human beings, we basically have two groups of cells in our bodies. We have our stem cells, which are mainly in our bone marrow, and there's stem cells all through our different parts of our body, but they're asleep. And when we have an injury, for instance, a cut on our arm, that injured body cell sends a signal to the stem cells. It says, I need help. Can you come and help me here? Come to this site, make more copies of these cells, and let me heal this incision or this cut. So stem cells are very interesting. We're all born with a limited number of stem cells. It's kind of like buying a new Ferrari, but there's no gas cap. So if you drive that Ferrari at 80, 90 miles an hour, you're going to go much less distance than if you drove that Ferrari at 40 miles an hour. So imagine each one of us, up until recently, we're basically Ferraris with no gas caps. So that means we couldn't put more stem cells back into our bodies, and which would allow us to live healthier lives. Well, up until about 2 years ago, that was the case. Now we have ways we can fill everybody's tank back up again. But until that technology becomes available to everyone in the room, there's ways we can help you keep your stem cells healthier longer, so your body cells stay healthier longer. Okay? Now this seems like a scary diagram, but it's really not. So let me explain something to you that is at the core of how we all age. So we have all our healthy cells over here, and as we age, those cells get damaged. DNA is our software, okay, our genetic software. If the DNA gets damaged, just like your computer doesn't run efficiently, it stops, it goes. Well, as our cells get damaged by DNA, they stop making good copies of themselves. As they start to get more damage, they not only don't make good copies, they don't make any copies. And now we found out with our research that the cells that are damaged but still sitting there actually make compounds that cause your healthy cells to age quicker. So we don't want to have a large number of damaged cells. If those damaged cells continue to get more damage, they can turn into cancer. Okay? Or if our bodies are healthy enough, our bodies have a system that gets rid of them. It self-destructs the unhealthy, what we call senescent cells. So keep in mind, this is a continuous process, but guess what? We now know how to take these early damaged cells, fix them so they start becoming healthy cells again. And that's one of the focuses of what we put into AmPm. So as we experience this process of cells getting damaged and aging, that's when we start to see the diseases of aging. Okay, we start to see arthritis, we start to see we're not sleeping well, we start to see our blood sugar go up, our suits don't fit anymore because there's a lot of body fat starting to accumulate. All of this is due to cells getting older, cells getting damaged. Okay. So what is our real focus? In the youth enhancement system, it's about getting our genes and our DNA to work as best as possible. Okay, and really, the big secret is keeping our DNA healthy and fixing the damage as it occurs. Okay? So the origin of the aging process is really inside the little center of your cell called the nucleus, and it's really all about your DNA. And AmPm's focus is we really focus on the exact same technology we use in the laboratory to reverse the aging process in human stem cells. So again, taking a look at this, when we're young, we age what we call positively. We age so that we can become mature, healthy adults. once we hit that healthy, optimal state as adults, we don't want to continue that process. We want to do something to slow it down. And normally what happens is we start to collect more and more of these unhealthy cells, and then the greater number of healthy cells we have, the quicker we age and the less healthy we are. Well, we can now take the old man, so to speak, and reverse this process and actually keep your stem cells healthier longer, which keeps your body cells healthier longer. And frankly, we are already starting to give back stem cells to people so we can fill their tanks up. And they actually are feeling dramatically better, recovering better, looking better. So that technology is no more than a year or two away for probably everybody in this room. And tomorrow I'll talk a little bit more about that. Anybody remember this gentleman? I showed this slide before, Captain Kirk. Well, remember Captain Kirk at his youth? Well, look at him today. All right, well, you know what happens to everybody, but it doesn't have to happen to everybody like that. This is damage to your DNA. This is cells, too many unhealthy cells accumulating. And of course, everybody recognizes this gentleman. Okay? Well, we hate to see this happen, right? James Bond. Okay? Despite the fact that he had every woman falling at his feet, today they seem to be running away from his feet. And again, why is that? Damage to our DNA, our genes getting, the wrong genes getting turned off and turned on by things in our environment. Okay? So the solution to cellular aging starts from the inside and works outward. Okay? And AmPm is not a vitamin mineral supplement. AmPm is a whole new science that takes vitamins and minerals to a whole new level, a new evolution, if you will. It's almost like looking at a type of person. Okay, so AmPm is based on a whole new science. Okay, let's take a look at this. And I've said this before at a couple of other meetings like this, but we have 100 trillion cells in our body. Each one of our cells has about 6 feet of DNA if we unwind it. If you multiply 100 trillion times 6 feet, you can go to the moon and back again a number of times. Now that's a lot of DNA. Now here's the interesting thing. Every 3 months, every piece of that DNA is completely turned over, made new again. So that means every 3 months, you have an opportunity to be genetically a completely different person, and every 3 months you have an opportunity to really, really improve the quality of your health and how you're aging. Every 3 months, 100 trillion cells turns over, 6 times 100 trillion feet of DNA. Now, imagine that every 3 months. Every 7 years, every one of you in this room has turned over every one of your cells. You're not the same person. So 7 years from now, you will physically not have one cell left in your body that's the same cell you have today. Interesting, right? But getting back to the every 3 months thing, you know, people who take AmPm, we've done some studies with. The first month, everybody feels better. They really notice they're sleeping better. They have energy. Their hair's going better. Their nails. But at the end, this continues for a full 3 months. And at 3 months, most people will say, wow, I really am noticing that I'm just a better person. And what happens is, from that moment, they've turned over all of their whole DNA. And AmPm has been designed to limit the damage to that DNA and actually start to interact with the genes to help your body age more efficiently. So when you're talking to people about taking AmPm, explain to them that they're going to notice how good they feel and actually continue to feel better from the 3rd month on. So we talked about this. Not only do we have 100 trillion cells, but in each cell of our body, we have 30,000 genes, roughly. 32,000, 30. Let's call it 30,000 genes. But at this moment, only about 10,000 of those genes are turned on. Okay? When you're a young person, there's a whole different clock or set of genes that are turned on that turn you into a mature adult. But when you're let's say, our age, 30 and up, most of us here, you have a set of genes that are designed to keep you healthy, and you avoid disease, and your chances of cancer are very small, your mind is working, you have energy, you're a successful business person. Once you hit 45 to 50, the gene clock clicks once more, and all of the genes that are involved in what we see as we age, arthritis, we're losing our memory, we're not remembering names or faces, those genes get turned on. But we're learning now how to turn those genes off. And I'm going to show you that in a minute, okay? So one of the things we discovered was human beings have been on the planet for well over a couple million years. And if you think about it today, we live in a modern world that is completely different from what we evolved in. Basically, we live in a foreign planet. Human beings were designed to live in a much healthier environment. We ate all different types of plants and food. We didn't eat as much meat. We had no McDonald's, we didn't have fried food, we didn't really have we had no alcohol. The genetics, how our cells age and react, was based on an environment that we don't even know about anymore. So basically, it's like we were all taken to another planet and said, okay, let's see if you can live in this unhealthy environment. So how do we react to that? We have to put into our bodies the compounds that we're now learning again were really what our bodies needed. So plant extracts, there are 92 different ingredients in AmPm, and each one of them have been chosen to actually impact certain things inside your cell, but they have to get into the cell first. So also built into AmPm is the technology of helping those ingredients get inside your cells so they can do what they need to do. So the secret is creating healthy cells, and the focus of AmPm is to keep those cells healthy, but make them as healthy as possible. Okay? If we accumulate large number of healthy cells, we age quicker. So the next thing we looked at is, well, if we use the right compounds, what genes do we have to work on to keep ourselves healthy? Well, we learned in the last probably 6 or 7 years, there's really a group of about 15 or 20 genes that they have a switch on them. We could turn the bad genes on and the good genes off. So we started to look at what natural compounds could do that, and we added that to the AmPm product. This is just a very small gene chart that you really don't have to know about, but every one of those ingredients in AmPm products are designed to, one of those ingredients might turn off 3 or 4 genes, and another ingredient might turn on 2 or 3 other genes. And it's a complicated process that we finally learned how to manipulate what's inside the cells. Getting back to the fact that, again, we evolved on a much healthier environment with healthier food, we've put in so many key ingredients into AmPm, many of which are anti-inflammatory, many of which are involved in repairing damage to your DNA. Others are involved in lowering blood sugar and keeping your cholesterol down. But they don't do that by bumping into a cholesterol molecule. They do that by turning the genes off that make cholesterol. So when you look at what's inside AmPm, you might say, well, I can buy these things on my own. Well, we did that. We went out and did an experiment and bought every one of the ingredients that's in AmPm, and guess what we found? The average cost to buy the same amounts was almost $500. The tablets, there was 92 tablets. Now you can't take 92 tablets twice a day. You can't even swallow all that. And frankly, when we started to look at how, it was impossible to do that. So what we had done is really taken the most important components of these different plants and vegetables, extracted out the active ingredients, and after about a year of figuring out how to put them together so that they would be absorbed, AmPm was born. Okay, so how does this AmPm actually turn on and off genes? Well, inside your cells is your DNA, but your DNA is wound around what looks like these tight spools. And if the DNA is wound tightly, the genes inside are not exposed to these little plant extracts, and those plant extracts can't really work. If you use the right ingredients, those little spools open up, and the little segments of DNA, the software, are exposed to these key pieces of products are from plants and animals and spices. And what happens is the gene gets turned on or off based upon which one of those compounds we use. So picking the correct natural compounds, and again I stress the things that we evolved on, was really the secret here. Okay? So AmPm creates healthy cells at the genetic level. It's way beyond the vitamin and mineral. it's basically a revolutionary approach to keeping your cells healthy. Okay, and so people said to us, well, you know, how do I know what I have to take in the morning and what do I have to take in the evening? Well, also built into AmPm is a biological clock mechanism. So what happens to all of us as we age is we can't, you notice you don't sleep as well as you get older. Okay, you get up in the morning and you're tired. Now when you were young, you could go out and party all night, and get a few hours sleep and feel fine and get up and keep on going. Well, I can't do that anymore. I think anyone who's honest notices as they age this ability to sleep well and have energy in the morning kind of gets less and less, okay? So built into the AmPm product is a biological clock mechanism that allows you to start sleeping better. And why is that important? It's because your cells repair themselves at night when you sleep. People who don't sleep well get sick quicker. People who don't sleep well get cancer quicker. People who don't sleep well usually get depressed. So sleep, aside from feeling good, is one of the key things that you need to stay healthy. And on the other hand, in the morning, if you sleep well, you feel rested. But you also need to be in a state where you have energy. And if you're not taking the right ingredients in the morning, your cells don't have the fuel to create the energy for the day. So when you're looking at AmPm, what are you looking at? You're looking at 2 capsules that actually have built into them cellular clock mechanisms. 2 capsules in the morning, 2 capsules in the evening that have compounds that are turning your genes on and off. And you're looking at this product that helps regulate 100 trillion cells in your body, your organ systems, repair your DNA, protect you from damage, particularly because we all live in an environment that we were really not intended to be living in. The 21st century, a century of stress, a century of fast foods, a century of overwork, and our bodies weren't designed for this. Okay, so that's where AmPm came into. Now, one of the best, I think, the most fun I have is I travel all over the world looking for these new ingredients that can be added to in the future or to create new products. And I've been everywhere from the Costa Rican rainforest to the Amazon to North Atlantic, actually exploring what are the newer things that we in the future could use, and we're constantly upgrading things. One of the most important things that we found out was when you take vitamins or any supplements, they have to be absorbed. Now, we did an interesting study when we looked at the top 10 selling multivitamins and AmPm. And the only thing we did was we put them in a glass of warm water. And you can do this in front of your people. Your potential distributors or just yourself. Take a glass of warm water. And by warm water, it should be like the temperature our body temperatures are 98 degrees. So it's warm, it's not scalding, but it's warm. You drop an AmPm tablet in that, in 2 to 3 minutes, it opens up like a mushroom and everything just moves through the water. And you do that with any other product, you'll notice it's hard as a rock. Now, the technology built into AmPm has been designed so when it gets into your stomach, it doesn't open up because those are where all the gastric acids are, and it would kill all the ingredients. But as it moves through the stomach, and the acidity changes in your small intestine, it opens up like a flower and delivers everything. Now, once you understand the science behind the product, you'll understand how important it is not only to take the product, but how it then interacts with the other products Jeunesse has. Also built into this product were 8 different categories of ingredients that we now know when we did our research over the last 5 years. What specific functions of the cell do we have to improve so that the cells age better? So all of this has been put into those 4 little tablets you guys have in these bottles, right? The biological clock is the secret, as I said, to health. If you're not sleeping well, you're not repairing, restoring your cells. And let me tell you a little secret. I mentioned to some of the people when I was in Macau last, nobody knew that I was involved with Jeunesse and the supplements, and I was sitting next to one of these tables watching this guy lose $10,000. He was rolling his dice. And I said, you're not making good decisions here. I said, you worked whole hard for that money. And he said, it's just money. I said, well, do you usually win? He goes, yeah, I usually win, but I have the worst hangover that I drank too much last night, so I pulled out some PMs, and I said, I'll tell you what, take 4 of these tonight, and tell me how your hangover is the next morning. And I left. Well, I don't know if you know this, but what PM products really do is they detoxify your body very, very strongly. And frankly, if you drank too much, if you double your dose of PMs, you'll never have a hangover. Your liver metabolizes all the alcohol off. So I did pitch to Wendy and Randy selling PMs as an anti-hangover treatment for Macau. It didn't go across too well, but I share that with you anyway. The secret here is you can use AmPms. If you're having, for instance, if you're not sleeping well, you can take a 3rd one. You could take, don't have to just limit to 2 or 3. I take my AMs, I take 2 AMs in the morning, I take another 1 AM in the midday, and then I take my 2 PMs. So keep in mind, every one of us are different genetic human beings, and you may want to experiment with, if you need a little more energy, it's okay to take an extra AM at lunchtime, maybe with reserve, and we'll get to reserve in a bit. But some AmPm products are designed to be used, and you can experiment with them if you need more sleep, if you feel like, you know, you might have allergies or things that are not really responding quickly. It's a phenomenal way to play with all of that. So the secret is giving your body what it needs 24 hours a day, different combinations of ingredients in the morning as opposed to the evening, all help balance the aging process in all those cells in our body. I've had patients come to me with, for instance, anti-aging patients with a bag of vitamins that you won't believe. And they say, doctor, I've read about this, I've taken all these things, these 40 bottles, I feel terrible. They're taking the wrong things in the morning. Those things they should be taking in the evening, the things they're taking in the evening, they should be taking in the morning. What we've done is taken all the guesswork out of what your body needs and your cells need and put them in the morning tablets and the PM tablets so the body again becomes balanced. Okay? We did an interesting study, this was about 1.5 years ago, we're actually doing another one right now, where after 8 weeks we pooled, I think this was about 120 people. In 8 weeks, 58% of the people saw a significant improvement in energy. In 12 weeks, it was 65%. And what you're going to see is if there was a prescription tablet that I could patent and say, look, in 12 weeks, your energy is going to be 65% better. 88% of you are going to sleep better. Your mental focus will be 65% of you will be able to think better and have better memory. Your stress level will go down in 62% of your patients. That would be one of the most successful drugs in the marketplace. I don't know how many billions of dollars it would be worth. You already have it. You have AmPm. And it does even better than this because our new data show even more improvements after 3 months. So what I'm trying to tell you is, the secrets to staying healthy you already have with AmPm. And if you add reserve, which we'll talk about more tomorrow, infinity, what you're doing is adding the products that your cells need to work so that you're not only healthy, but you're healthier. Okay? And in summary, when people say to you, gee, I already take a vitamin mineral supplement, you're not selling vitamin mineral supplements. You're selling something so far beyond that, that they have to understand that this is apples versus oranges. Okay? So the benefits you feel, okay, we went over here on the chart, but women love this product because their hair, their skin, and nails grow like unbelievable, okay? And you'll notice and your skin quality gets better just from the tablets. When you use AmPm and the Luminous line together, we did an interesting study, looked at people who did both of these things as opposed to just Luminous and just AmPm. Well, just AmPm and just Luminous, their skin got better. When they added them together, there's a threefold effect on how much better their skin looked, as being measured by a computer that measured pores, wrinkles, and tightness. So what you're doing is feeding your cells from the inside out with AmPm and with the Luminous line from the outside in. And that's where you get the most unbelievable results. So lastly, to wind things up a little bit, I like to leave people with this piece of information. You know, we're all told that, gee, we've inherited the gene for high blood pressure or cholesterol, we've inherited the gene for this or that, and there's nothing you can do about it. So let me make this clear. The scientific community has completely changed on that whole opinion. You're born with genes, but it's your environment that those genes are placed in that dictate how well you age, okay? So what's really important is your environment controls 70% of your future health. Your genes control 30%. So what we're trying to do with Jeunesse is bring you the information and the science to push you into that high 70% category so that you are really the one in charge of your health. And you have to keep in mind that your genes respond to exercise. They respond to how much stress is in your life. They respond to your emotions. Okay, so yes, taking the products Jeunesse makes is going to make a big difference in your life, but in reality, incorporating some changes in your lifestyle along with these products, you will basically be a new person every 3 months. So every 3 months, you have to say to yourself, you know, I have an opportunity to step up the quality of my health even more. And I'm going to tell you something, if you keep in mind, and I think Ken Ward had just a great talk about this, you're really the captain of your own ship. Our job is to bring you the science so you can explain this in as simple a way as possible to your distributors who will explain it to their people. Give them the information that we've talked about tonight. Make them realize that what Jeunesse is about is giving you the power to control not just your health at the moment, but your future health, the quality of your life, and the fact that every one of you in this room can touch hundreds of people and really, really make a difference in how they live, how they feel, how they work, is really probably one of the most important things I think Jeunesse is getting to you. Thank you.